Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze, Breezeway Productions The Breeze, where we bring you the latest in independent films that are currently out there so for audiences to view. And today we have the director and cast from the film A Night at the Eagle Inn. So Erik Bloomquist, director, and Taylor Turner and Amelia Dudley, the actors in the film.
Who's going to be the prettiest at the ball? You are. Yeah, you are.
357 miles outside of Philadelphia, 29 degrees Fahrenheit, and one car in the lot. Ours.
Back when we opened in '87, this was quite the hideaway.
I don't want to freak you guys out. This place is safe. They're just stories.
And do people still go missing?
The hotel, it does something to people. It changes them. Pushes them to their most vulnerable. We're here tonight to see if we can find anything that speaks to our father's disappearance. And perhaps find some form of closure for the tragedy that has haunted the Moss family for decades. You can't escape the darkness. The shadows will follow you. What you saw in the pool, on your television, is nothing compared to what you'll see in the coming hours. Only they won't feel like hours.
I'm so sorry I brought you here, sir. I'm so sorry.
They'll feel like years.
I really did want you to have a memorable night for your final night.
All right, man. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. Looking forward to talk a little bit about the film. So, Erik, do you want to tell us a little bit about A Night in the Eagle Inn?
Sure. Night at the Eagle Inn is kind of a classic haunted hotel horror movie about two twins who go to a seemingly soon to be defunct inn in rural Vermont to investigate the circumstances of their birth. At the hotel, it's where their mom died the day they were born and their father disappeared the day they were born. So they go on this pilgrimage to kind of get more answers, maybe get a little closer themselves. And as is the way in these things, find out a little more than they were expecting to.
Right on. I was able to check out the film yesterday. I enjoyed it. It's a good film for the Halloween season. Definitely very spooky. The soundtrack is also very, very creepy while you listen to it and watch the movie. So my next question is for Taylor. I see you do not have blonde hair anymore. You had blonde hair in the film. So did you do that for the project? Did you have that before you did it, or how'd that go?
Yeah, I mean, it was quarantine. We were all in crisis mode, and gay people famously bleach their hair when they're in crisis. And I was looking for like a convenient excuse to do it. And I was like, wouldn't it be nice if I could just say, oh, I did this for a project? And so I called up Erik and was like, hey man, wouldn't it be fun if, we're going for like sort of this like edgier kind of spooky vibe if I bleached my hair for this? And Amelia is a natural blonde. And so she ended up dyeing her hair black, and it was just like a fun look that we think highlighted the production value of the film. It really worked with the palette of the season when we were shooting up there. You got the mist, you got the fog, and the light plays well off of it. But yes, unfortunately, it was not very sustainable. My scalp was not happy. It was 5 hours in a chair, but it was worth it because now I have it on camera for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that you do. So you shot up in Vermont for a little bit. Is that where the setting is? Amelia, have you worked in Vermont before, or did you know the lay of the land? And working in this hotel, what kind of vibes did you get when you were working up there?
Well, I have some family actually in Vermont, so I'm like place I know and love, but this particular section was unfamiliar. And so this was my first time working in this area, and then working at the Hawk Mountain Inn and Ski Resort, as it is known in real life, which is a current currently defunct mountain resort up there
Oh,
in Vermont
wow.
that was just like all of the production value you could ask for in a location, but that also happened to be like very cold because the heat hadn't been turned on in a couple years, and it's kind of dank, without cell phone service really up there. So when you're in that hotel at night, it does really feel scary, because if you're alone in those hallways and the lights go off, you're alone.
Yeah.
You can't call someone and be like, hey, come pick me up. You're stuck there and you got to find your way out. And I'm sure more than one member of the cast and crew got kind of turned around in those halls at night.
Sure. I'm sure they were definitely feeling unsettled while they were up there.
Certainly a little ominous.
Yeah. Where'd you find this, Erik? How did you come across the defunct hotel, which is where the majority of the film is shot, except for a couple of scenes, like at a gas station early on, and then traveling to the hotel?
Yeah, we had done a romantic dramedy up there 2 months before we shot this, and we were in different places in that same pocket of Vermont, and we were connected to this inn, and we toured it as a potential location, and then we just thought it didn't really make sense for it. But walking around, my brother and I were like, we should just do another movie here, and we said okay. So as soon as we wrapped the romantic dramedy and started editing it, we started writing this one based around the inn and all of its offerings, and we ended up back 2 months later and we were shooting this one.
Yeah. One of the things that I loved most about like the spooky value was when the TV. So we could talk about the TV really being an integral part of like conveying some really eerie messages about the hotel owner or caretaker, so to say. So how did you guys end up shooting that? Was it like done in post? Did you have it while you were in production? What were you looking at when you were looking at that TV?
Amelia, you can speak to this one if you want to.
Yes. So I was actually our first takes of those scenes were my first time seeing the footage. That was all pre-recorded before we got up there, with other actors who Erik pulled in, and he saved them. So he did. I wasn't showing them in advance. We didn't do a rehearsal with them. I had an idea of what was happening because it's in the script, but my first time absorbing that material was our first takes on set. And so it was, much easier to genuinely react to something that you are seeing for the very first time, and that is kind of off-putting and you don't know what's going to happen next.
That works. I mean, they did that in Alien. Ridley Scott didn't tell the cast that an alien was going to pop out, and that was all their reactions for the first time seeing it. So it works, and that has been proven to work. So Taylor, you play fraternal twins with Amelia. Did you have time to have a relationship beforehand to get familiar and then feel comfortable doing this to showcase that you were fraternal twins in this project, or just meet on set and shoot?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, actually, so Amelia and I have actually known each other for quite a while. We've worked with Erik before in a previous project, this PBS show called The Cobblestone Quarter, and we actually played twins in that. And that was about 5 or 6 years ago. And so Erik had reached out to us and was like, hey, do you guys want to come up to Vermont and shoot a spooky movie and play twins again? We were like, hell yeah. So,
nice.
As Erik said, kind of, we were getting pages kind of as they were writing it. And we didn't actually do a first read through of the whole script until we actually got to the location. And Amelia and I had, talked a little bit about the characters before because we already had this rapport together. But we were sitting there reading the script through, and like our first scene at that gas station, it's very pingy, very back and forth, and it just kind of like flowed really naturally. I've been saying it's kind of like riding a bike a little bit, like that, because our chemistry was already there. We'd already worked together and we were already used to having that sort of being on similar wavelengths. And as people, I think we kind of have that a little bit. Nice. We've been known at bars before to try to fool people into thinking we're twins. We haven't gotten our story straight yet in that regard, but we have the big eyes, we have the angular features, so we're pretty good at pulling it off, I think. But yeah, so we've done it before, and it was just kind of like a nice little homecoming. For
Right.
sure.
It was good. It played well on camera. So my next question is about the caretaker. What a character. What a guy. Where have you worked with him before, Erik, or did you look out for casting very, very colorful character, so to say?
Definitely, purposefully so, and I think most people realize that. But there's the occasional like, what is going on? But that's all by design. His name is Greg. We have worked together before. We did a show together before, I guess like 3.5 years ago at this point, and he played a similarly off-color character. And I said, we can take this and turn this up to 11. So I had remembered that he lived nearby to where we were shooting. He had actually reminded me when we were doing our dramedy down there. And he said, oh my God, I live 20 minutes away because I posted a photo. And I said, thank you for the reminder, Greg. You'll be in the next one in 2 months. So we ended up kind of just knowing that we had Taylor and Amelia, knowing we had Beau, knowing we had Greg, and saying, what can we do with these people and this place in the time we have? So we just ended up doing that, and he evolved into this, this
camp icon.
Yeah, that's hopefully camp icon, man. It's just like Taylor set up a demented Pepperidge Farm spokesperson.
That he was.
This just tortured soul. So that was a blast. We wrote it with that, and then we just let him go. I mean, I would throw him things to play with in the sandbox and sort of try to keep it in this container, but within that we were like, play, and that gave Taylor and Amelia a lot to react to, as because they're characters in their own right too, but they're also like the straight people of this show too. I mean,
no, it played well.
The gay straight people.
You all had a ball. Obviously, I could see that it must have been fun to shoot this. Spooky yet fun. Adventurous to go and shoot in a place like this. Like you were saying, it was defunct and you had to turn it on and do what you needed to do. But it's indie filmmaking at its finest, and you put it together, and it was a great picture to check out. It's about an hour long, or an hour and some change. What are your hopes for this project? Where do you hope that it's showcased? Do you have distro for it yet, or where can audiences go to find out more about A Night at the Eagle Inn?
We do, actually. I don't know, by the time people are listening to this, it'll probably be out. It's November 2nd, Tuesday, November 2nd. It's going to come out on digital VOD, on anywhere you can buy and rent movies. It's in pre-order now on Amazon and iTunes, Apple TV, Vudu, all those places. So we hope as many people check it out as possible. It's right on the heels of the Halloween season. So on your winds down, I think it's actually a good transition from Halloween to winter movie. And like you said, it's a quick walk. It's only like an hour 10. So I hope people will, like with most of the movies that I make, I hope it's one of those things that people will throw on at a sleepover with friends if they're of that age, or just will remind them of that time as well.
Right on. Well, that's the cherry on the cake, and we hope that audiences are able to check out A Night at the Eagle Inn. And I wanted to thank all of you for spending some time talking about the film. Erik Bloomquist, Taylor Turner, and Amelia Dudley, thank you so much for joining me today on The Breeze, and we hope audiences are able to check out A Night at the Eagle Inn.
Awesome.
Thanks, Alex.